How's it going, guys? I'm Theo Joe, and today we have a really expensive toothbrush, a $300 toothbrush that we're going to be talking about, going over what is the deal with this. This is the Philips Sonicare DiamondClean 9700 model. This is like the top end one they have, so I thought I could do a quick review and discuss, is this thing worth it, what do you get with it, and why does it cost that much? Now, first of all, like I said, the retail price of this is actually $330, $329, but you can get it a little bit cheaper on Amazon and other places for about $280 as the real price, but still, that's very expensive. Now, of course, this is a electric toothbrush, and it is referred to as a sonic toothbrush. That's why it kind of goes with the Sonicare brand name, and it does 31,000 brush strokes per minute, or about 500 per second. Now, a sonic toothbrush gets its name because it vibrates at a frequency that is in the audible range, so you can actually feel it and hear it vibrating pretty fast. There are, believe it or not, fun fact, other toothbrushes that are above the audible range called ultrasonic, but we're not going to get into that. And with the Philips toothbrushes like these, they actually sweep back and forth, and this is a little bit different than other brands like Oral-B, which has a rotating brush head. It's just another method they use. And actually, one of the main features of this toothbrush, and what I think is one of the reasons it's more expensive than other models, is this one has Bluetooth connectivity. Believe it or not, a toothbrush with Bluetooth, who would have thought? But this is why it has the Smart at the end of the model name. It's DiamondClean Smart. Of course, we will get into the app later. I'm gonna hold that off for a little while, but I will say that I'm very happy with how easy it is to connect via Bluetooth. At least on iPhone, you don't have to go into the settings and find it and click connect or any of that nonsense. I was kind of worried it would be difficult. You literally open the app and take it off the charging stand, and it automatically finds it and connects it. You don't actually have to connect to it yourself at all, so I'm really happy with that. So why don't we next talk about what you actually get in the box, which is a main differentiator between the other models like the 9300 and the 9500, which are mostly the same thing, they just come with less things included. So with this one, you basically get a bunch of different brush heads. You get 2 premium gum care brush heads, which are basically just softer for outer bristles, which give you better gum care, I guess. It comes with 3 premium plaque control. So that has a power tip, which I guess just takes off plaque better. And then there's 2 premium whitening heads. So that has densely packed bristles that I guess remove stains better. And then this also comes with a tongue brush head, so that's kind of interesting. And here's another interesting thing about these brush heads is they actually have a chip built into each one. So when you put it on the brush, it actually communicates with it, so the brush knows what kind of tip is on there, and it will automatically adjust the brushing mode and intensity, so it will go to that by default, so you don't have to manually set to gum care mode or anything like that. You can, if you want, switch between modes manually, even if it is a different kind of brush, but it is neat that it at least knows what kind you're using. Also, because of this, it actually lets you keep track of how long you've been using the brush head and will tell you when you probably need to replace it. And from what I understand, it's not just a timer, it also takes into consideration the type of intensity you've been using, if you've been pressing too hard, that sort of thing. So it does actually calculate based on all that information when you should probably get new brush heads, although they are pretty expensive. They're like $10 to $15 each when you want to go to replace it, which would be probably every 3 months or so, and then you'd buy them in a pack online. Next, also in the box, you're gonna get a charging case. So this is great for if you need to travel, obviously. It not only stores your toothbrush, but it will actually charge it, and you charge the case itself using USB. So that case will hold the toothbrush handle itself and then 2 brush heads, so if you want to switch between them. And as for battery, the handle just by itself without being charged supposedly lasts about 14 days, so that would be more than enough if you're going on a trip. It'll last 14 days regularly, and then plus the charging case, you should have no worry of it running out. Speaking of charging, this is where it actually kind of gets pretty interesting. It uses induction charging, so you get the base charger thing, and then you can do one of 2 things. It comes with an actual glass, so you could put the glass on top of that charger and then charge the toothbrush by just putting it into that glass. So that's really awesome. And then if you want to use that as a rinsing glass, you can use that as well. So that's pretty cool. It's a solid glass, literally glass, not plastic or anything. Or if you don't want to use that, it also does come with a plastic base with a square cutout where you can fit the base of the toothbrush in there, so it just stands up directly if you want. For me, I actually prefer to just use the plastic base. I think it'll be easier to clean than having a glass, especially because where I live, there's a lot of hard water, so it would really build up if I used it as a rinsing glass like you're supposed to be able to do. And also, I like that they do include this plastic thing, because imagine you use the regular glass and then you drop it and break it or something. Well, then you're kind of screwed. Whereas with this, you're not going to break the plastic unless you like smash it or something. So you have a backup. You don't have to worry about it breaking and not being able to charge it. So why don't we now talk about actual features of the brush itself? So like I mentioned before, there's different intensity levels and brushing modes. So there's a power button on the thing which starts and stops the actual brushing motion, and there's another selection button, and depending on whether it's running or not, it will do a different thing. When the brush is not going, when you're not brushing, pressing the select button changes the brushing mode, and there are 5 of these with this model. There's clean, which is just everyday cleaning. There's white, which removes surface stains, is like a whitening. Then there's deep clean, which I guess just is better for, I don't know, getting deeper into the gums or something. It's just a deeper clean, it says. And then there's gum health, which says it is better for special attention to molars. I'm not really sure what the difference physically in the motion of the brush is with these different modes, but I guess they do something different. And then, of course, there's the tongue care one, which you would use with that tongue brush. As for intensity, there are 3 different intensities, and you change that from low, medium, or high while the thing is running. So while you're not running the toothbrush, the selection button changes the mode. While it is running, it changes the intensity. And I believe by default, it's high intensity, but maybe if you're just using an electric toothbrush for the first time or something, you're not used to it, the lower intensities might be better. It does actually have an easy ramp up mode that is not enabled by default, but if you've literally never used an electric toothbrush before, you can enable that, where it starts out low intensity, and I think over like 10 days or 14 days, it slowly ramps it up to maximum. When you're using the toothbrush, there's also lots of other features. For example, there's a pressure sensor. So if you're pressing too hard, and I think this does vary depending on the mode, then it'll actually vibrate a little bit differently, so you know, and then it'll show a purple light on the base of the thing, so you know, okay, I've been pressing too hard, so you can relieve that a little bit. Also, with electric toothbrushes, you're not really supposed to scrub back and forth too fast. You want to let the toothbrush do the work, so it will actually alert you based on the motion whether or not you're brushing too fast and scrubbing. It'll do the same thing and warn you, stop doing that. You just let the toothbrush do the work. Also, like you would expect with a lot of toothbrushes that are electric, it does have a timer built in, and this will vary, and we can talk about that in a little bit, but by default, it does 20 seconds for each 1/6 of the mouth. So the sides, each side, the front, and then the top and bottom, so you know you're getting everything. And then also, you can do an extra 20 seconds on different parts of the mouth that you specify in the app that we'll get to. So if you know that I don't know, the top and bottom and the back need extra work, your dentist told this, you can put that in the app, and then it'll give you an extra 20 seconds on each one. So you can specify a lot of that and customize it and do it longer if you want. And finally, one of the biggest features of this toothbrush is that it can actually detect the position it's in and the orientation, so it can track how well you're brushing each part of the mouth and then warn you if you miss anything. So when you connect to your app, it will actually give you a report afterwards about, I don't know, maybe you missed this side of this portion of the mouth, and it will show you that in yellow. And also, if you press too hard in certain parts of the mouth, it'll show that in purple. So this is a really great way to kind of get feedback. Maybe you didn't even realize you were missing parts of the mouth, and then that way, when you go to the dentist, they're telling you, hey, you know, this part of the mouth is not looking that great, and now you might know why, and you can focus a little bit extra on that part. And in the app, you can actually specify 3 different parts, up to 3 parts, and then the app will give you an extra time, like I said before, that you can focus on that area more. So why don't we talk about that and the rest of the app. So like I just said, you can focus on different areas and actually give a reason in the app. So whether it's plaque buildup, another option is bleeding gums, gum recession, and then potential cavities. So really the app is not just a matter of keeping track of like how many times you brush or anything like that. It really does actually kind of customize it to the profile you set and anything you specify. And that is really nice. I like that. I was kind of skeptical, like, all right, what does it really use Bluetooth for? But it does a lot more than you might expect. One thing to keep in mind though is to get the most data out of it for the reports, you need to keep the app connected while you're brushing. You need to open it up because it does record some basic data like the time that you brushed on the toothbrush and then syncs it to the app later if you weren't connected. But if you actually want to get information about the position and places you missed, you will need to have that open. Otherwise, it'll just say data unavailable. Now, like I said before, the different models or editions of this toothbrush. There's the 9700, the top model that I'm using. There's the 9500 and the 9300. And depending on what you're going to be using it for, you might not need the top end. And there's not huge differences between them, so keep that in mind as well. And actually, the only differences I've noticed between these models is which brush heads it comes with and which modes are available for use. So for example, the 9700 and the 9500 both have 5 brushing modes, whereas the 9300 only have 4. It does not have the tongue brush mode, but has all the others. And also, as for the number of brush heads it comes with, the 9700 comes with 7 brush heads plus the tongue brush, and the 9500 comes with 3 brush heads and the tongue one, whereas the 9300 only comes with 3 brush heads and no tongue brush, which I guess is why it doesn't have the tongue brush mode. But besides that, from what I understand, they're all pretty much the same. You know, they all come with the charging case, they all can use the app, they all have the induction charging glass and all that. So you might not need to spend the full $300. There's other ones that are more like in the $250 to $200 range. Now, besides the handle and the brush heads it comes with, there are a lot of other brush heads you can get. There are a lot of other options, although it's kind of hard to decipher which ones are which. There's a lot of arbitrary names. It's hard to figure out which ones are better, but I do think that the ones that are included with these toothbrushes are the best ones. Some other examples are the DiamondClean brush head, which comes in 2. There's the regular or the compact size. So I was kind of wondering why the DiamondClean toothbrushes don't come with the DiamondClean brush head, but then from what I understand, the premium ones are actually better than that. So it's really confusing. And also another thing to know is that the standard naming thing actually refers to the size of the brush head, not the like premium quality. There's either standard or compact. So you might see premium standard, but that just means it's the regular standard size. Another example of another brush head is the InterClean. So that's supposed to be better if you need to specifically clean in between teeth. Then there's also the Pro Results Gum Health and the Simply Clean, I guess, which is a base model. And like I said, the ones that it comes with are premium, so I'm assuming those are better, and these other ones are just kind of basic or specialty ones. All right, so finally, let's go over my overall thoughts of this toothbrush. I do like it, first of all, and I'm not totally sure how much of a difference in effect these different brush heads have. Like, I'm not super sure if it's gonna matter whether you use the whitening one or the Pro Clean one. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt, but me personally, I think they're all gonna do a good enough job, and it matters mostly to just use the one you're most comfortable with. The one you most like is probably one you just wanna use. So even if you don't wanna whiten your teeth, but you like the whitening one the best, then just use that one. Also, as for using it, it does take some getting used to. I can imagine if you've never used an electric toothbrush before, you'll definitely have to get used to it. Though I used to use another rotating toothbrush, an Oral-B one, like a very basic model, so it does feel a lot different than that. That one felt like a motor rotating. This one just feels like it's vibrating, although it does feel like it's actually sweeping back and forth as well. So you can definitely tell it's working. It just feels different. And I do actually really like the main feature of this, which really is to be able to keep track of how you're brushing your teeth. So I like that it'll tell you, look, you missed this part. And I'd be like, I thought I did that one really well. You don't even think about it. Or you were brushing too hard over here. And that way you can kind of adjust consciously and eventually get to the point where you don't have to worry about that. And then overall, it'll just become second nature and your teeth will hopefully just be healthier from that. Now, the other thing to know is a $300 toothbrush necessary? And obviously the answer, I think, is no. I mean, what I was using before was like a $50 basic electric toothbrush, and my teeth were great. You know, my dentist says it's good. But, I mean, hopefully this is better, and if there are some spots that I wasn't doing so great, that's really the benefit you get out of it. So if you really do care about your oral health a lot, you really care about your teeth, then to you, it might be worth it to know exactly where you need to improve. And plus, it's not like you have to get the top end version. If you know you're not going to use all those brush heads, you could just get one of the cheaper ones and buy the one you need, or it just comes with some of the better ones anyway. And you definitely might not need that tongue brush. Me personally, I didn't really find it to work that well. So you could probably do without that as well and still get all the main features like the app and all that stuff. So I guess that's all of my thoughts. You guys can let me know what you think down in the comment section. Would you ever spend this much money on a toothbrush? Let us know. If you want to keep watching, I'll put some other videos right here. You can just click on those. And if you want to subscribe, I make new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And also be sure to enable notifications by clicking that bell next to the subscribe button, or YouTube literally might not show you new videos even if you do subscribe, so keep that in mind. So again, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. How's it going, guys? I'm Theo Joe, and today we have a really expensive toothbrush, a $300 toothbrush that we're going to be talking about, going over what is the deal with this. This is the Philips Sonicare DiamondClean 9700 model. This is like the top end one they have. So I thought I could do a quick review and discuss, is this thing worth it? What do you get with it? And why does it cost that much? Now, first of all, like I said, the retail price of this is actually $330, $329, but you can get it a little bit cheaper on Amazon and other places for about $280 as the real price. But still, that's very expensive. Now, of course, this is an electric toothbrush, and it is referred to as a sonic toothbrush. That's why it kind of goes with the Sonicare brand name. And it does 31,000 brush strokes per minute, or about 500 per second. Now, a sonic toothbrush gets its name because it vibrates at a frequency that is in the audible range. So you can actually feel it and hear it vibrating pretty fast. There are, believe it or not, fun fact, other toothbrushes that are above the audible range called ultrasonic, but we're not going to get into that. And with the Philips toothbrushes like these, they actually sweep back and forth, and this is a little bit different than other brands like Oral-B, which has a rotating brush head. It's just another method they use. And actually, one of the main features of this toothbrush, and what I think is one of the reasons it's more expensive than other models, is this one has Bluetooth connectivity. Believe it or not, a toothbrush with Bluetooth, who would have thought? But this is why it has the Smart at the end of the model name. It's a DiamondClean Smart. Of course, we will get into the app later. I'm going to